Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. Jordan, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. Never better.
Never better. Is that true?
Never better.
You have never been better than this moment.
At this exact moment, here with you, week 6.
Week 6. I am.
Yep.
We are live on YouTube right now, youtube.com/Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm posting it everywhere. If you are here, great. If you're listening later on, we appreciate you being here. Jordan, let me ask you a question.
Oh boy.
Actually, hold up. I'm going to wait to ask you this question because we're going to talk about the passing of Dick Butkus. I haven't told you that, but we're going to talk about that because that happened since we last had our episode. Jordan, how you doing in the leagues this year?
So far, so good. I am in the home league. You and I both have the same problem. We score a lot of points, but everyone seems to have really good weeks against us.
And that is just part of it.
I
don't know what to tell you. It's just part of the game, and it stinks.
Yeah. And then in the other league that kind of matters, I guess, for the podcast here in our kind of our big league or Patreon league, it could be better.
Oh yeah,
2 and 3.
Struggling?
Yeah, it could be better. Mm-hmm.
That's all right.
Yeah, but I have DJ Moore was kind of like I committed to him as like my wide receiver, and he's just starting to.
It's starting to ascend
for me. Yeah,
starting to ascend. Ever since you said sit Justin Fields, he's been doing great.
Yeah, so you're welcome to all of you DJ Moore owners and Justin Fields.
Yeah, all right, Jordan. Do you want to get this started on the podcast side?
Yeah.
All right, you let me know. Count me in.
3, 2.
Welcome back to the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast, where we're here to help you take the next step in your fantasy journey. My name is Jake, and I am once again joined by my friend Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
That's great. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
It's funny because
nothing else to report.
It's funny because we literally just talked about this because we're live on YouTube right now. YouTube.com/Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. If you ever want to see the beforehand, right? The behind the scenes, if you will.
Oh,
well, there you are.
Yeah.
We're like I mentioned, we are live, so there are people in the chat. Hello, people in the chat. John says, "Shout out to my daughter, Eve." Is it Evie? Evie, right? EVIE. Jordan, help me out a little.
Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. I'm trying to.
Evie,
anyway.
I'd say Evie. Yeah. Anyways, tonight is her second birthday. Well, happy birthday! That's exciting. And Joey says, "Good evening. I hope you guys are doing well." Jordan. It's week 6.
It is week 6
already. Anyone in the chat right now? Drop those start-sit questions. We're here to help you guys out during that. Quickly before we get into it, I did want to shout out the Going for Two podcast. I was on that on this past Sunday, and it was a lot of fun. It was fun to do an episode or like talk football start and sits right before the week started.
Yeah, fun. I mean that's when it matters the most, you know. Like we talk about it, it's Wednesday right now, right? And we always kind of like speculate. A great one that I'll talk about in a little bit when we get to the news is we were like, oh, Cooper Kupp, you know, he might be back. We'll see. I'd be surprised if, you know, that was what we were talking about last week. Cooper Kupp played
great. Yes.
Right, and so kind of catching those on Sunday morning it's nice.
Yeah, so that was fun. So shout out to them. Appreciate them letting me have them on, or them letting me come on. They were the utmost professional people. It was a good time. So, and like I said, Going for Two, they're on YouTube. They're on everywhere you listen to podcasts. Go check them out. So, again, thank you to those guys. Jordan, I don't have an arbitrary question for... Actually, I do have an arbitrary question for you if you want to hear.
No, I hate these.
Well, I like to kind of put you on the spot because we're missing Adam, so we can't really play our games. Guys, Adam, hopefully, I'm putting him on the spot now. We'll be back next week. So, he better be here. Or
please
else.
Come back, Adam. I'm sick of these games that Jake makes me play.
Yes, and we miss Adam. Yeah. Everybody misses Adam and his great takes. I ate 3 hot dogs today at lunch. No shame. We've all done it. I just want to hear your top 3 sports concession foods. So, like, if you went to a Packer game, what are your top 3 concessions? For me, easy. I will always spend money on cheese curds. We're Wisconsinites.
That's Wisconsin.
I know
Yep, so
that is what we do. 2, love a good hot dog or brat. Also Wisconsin. And 3,
Yep.
the best value of anything, I love me some popcorn.
Ooh.
So those are my 3. If you're in the chat, let me hear your top 3 concessions at a sports game. Jordan, we'll hit you with that at the end of the day.
Well, I have a clarification.
Oh, yes.
Because
yes.
I bet you I could answer this now.
Okay.
I don't think we need to wait till the end.
Okay.
But the sport matters. Because
Does
if I'm
it?
at a baseball game, I'm getting peanuts.
Okay.
That's gonna happen because I want to throw the shells on the ground.
You monster.
I just love that. Well, that's what you do at a baseball
I know.
game, you know? But you don't do that at like a basketball game, you know? I don't go to the Bucks arena and just start chucking peanuts on the ground.
Chucking
That would
peanuts.
be classless. That'd be classless, right? But popcorn for sure is the top. I'll put peanuts at 3 because something about baseball games and peanuts, I'm all about it. And then I put brat, hot dog, stadium dog, something like that, right in the middle spot there. So I'm pretty close to you. I'm pretty close to you there, Jake.
Good. Great. Let me quick hit the chat before we get into the news. Joey says, number 1, hot dog, beer. Number 2, 3 is nachos. Beer's a cheat because you should be
you said
drinking the
food.
whole time anyways.
You said food.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
you did.
sorry, Joey, we do not accept. John says, nacho pretzels popcorn. I'm not a huge pretzel guy, I'll admit. And I'm always worried that your pretzel's just going to be disappointing. But if it's a good pretzel, it hits. It hits. Jamie says, we love having you join us. It was great. Can't wait to have you back. Appreciate it. And then Joey said, if you're not allowed beer, the option nachos slide up and boiled peanuts slide onto the list. Boiled peanuts because he is from the South. All right. George plays 0-1. First of all, good to have you here. First time I at least commenting. So thank you for coming. He says he's 5-0. I was reading
congrats.
something today that 25% of teams are 5-0. That's all that's left. So
25%. That's not. I'm still surprised.
now
That's a
listen
pretty
to
high
this team. He's got Tua, CMC, Kenneth Walker, Cup, Olave, Goddard, and then the flex James Cook. I would love to know how many people are in your league, but that's awesome. He says, should I trade Kenneth Gainwell and Justin Fields for Bijan? The person who has
Was it
Bijan.
Kenneth Walker or Kenneth Gainwell? That's very specific.
I'm going to assume Walker.
Question.
I'm going to assume Walker.
Okay.
He says, should you trade Kenneth Walker and Justin Fields for Bijan? The person who has Bijan has Jordan Love and Russell Wilson at quarterback.
You're 5-0. Don't rock the boat. Life's great.
Oh my God, I would 12-man non-PPR? Are you kidding? No. Jordan, I'm going to completely disagree with you. I know you're 5-0. That's great. But just because you're 5-0 does not mean you can't get better. And you're telling me you have Justin Fields as your backup behind Tua.
Oh wait, you have Tua and Justin
Yeah,
Fields?
so he's saying, should I trade Kenneth Walker and Justin Fields? So I assume that means he has Fields for Bijan. So you could have Bijan in a
As a
flex. Oh, no, he would slide in where Kenneth Walker is right now.
Where Kenneth Walker is. Yep. So
yes.
you're basically upgrading Kenneth Walker to Bijan Robinson.
Correct.
Because you're not starting Justin Fields. You're starting Tua every week.
Correct.
I love it.
I would absolutely do that. Smash it, book it, do it. Absolutely.
Yep.
Don't
My apologies,
even
I
think
didn't realize.
twice about that. I will say, make sure though, if you move Fields and you have Tua as your starting quarterback, it's worth getting a semi-decent backup just in case. So just look at the waiver wire, maybe move someone if you have someone deeper for a Kirk Cousins or just someone in case of a Tua injury, right? Just try to cover yourself. Otherwise, but yes, smash it. Joey said, I'm sorry, Mr. Grapefruit. Good to see you. Super Flex League, 12 teams. He is number 1 waiver. Should I drop Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, or Kenny Pickett for Gardner Minshew? Or use my waiver on Roshan Johnson?
In a super flex.
I'm going to say yeah. Well, okay, I don't think Kyler Murray plays this year.
I don't think so either.
So if
tanking.
he's picking up Garner, so then he's between Daniel Jones, Kenny Pickett, and Gardner Minshew.
That's better than having Kyler.
I
I would also look to see if there's anyone else on your team that you could drop. Because I don't know, like Kyler, if you're holding out hope that he plays, but he's giving you no value right now. So.
In a super flex, quarterbacks are just so worth a lot, right? They're just worth a lot. I will say I would use my number 1 waiver wire on Roshan Johnson, though. With Khalil Herbert going to be out for a while, I would definitely grab him, even though Roshan Johnson might not be back this week. We don't know. I mean, again, it's only Wednesday. He's got that concussion. He still hasn't cleared it, and it's been a week and a half. So, but he's got Lamar, too, so he can add Gardner Minshew, and he would be his fourth. So he's already starting Lamar.
Okay. Got it.
Then, yeah, I would definitely do it.
I think
because
so.
Kyler's not giving you much right now. And plus, you got Daniel Jones who's hurt. I mean, the tough part is he has Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, and Kenny Pickett. They're all dealing with something.
Yep.
So for 4 weeks, go get Minshew, because we know what Minshew is. He can win you a week. But he's not.
And they said potentially up to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I saw 6 to 8 weeks is what I saw for Anthony Richardson. It's like that's a lot of Gardner Minshew. That's a lot of Minshew mania.
I agree. So to anyone new, he said, "Yeah, thanks. I'll cut Murray. I'm 2-3. I can't afford to wait for unicorns." You're 2-3.
Yes.
You got to make moves.
Yep.
And it depends. Like in our home league, 2-3 is good enough for fifth place right now in our 10 team. So for us, who's sitting at 2-3, we kind of have a little wiggle room. But in a lot of leagues, 2-3 puts you down in the 8th spot right now. So you got to make some moves. Oh man, we're getting a whole bunch of these, Jordan. We're gonna keep it going though. Start, sit, half point PPR, Jerome Ford or Miles Sanders / Chuba Hubbard, whichever one starts this week. So Miles Sanders dealing with a little something. Jerome Ford coming off decent games. I mean, nothing to write home about, but he's got a few touchdowns. He's doing all right. And Chuba Hubbard. So
we'll get into this.
Okay.
We'll get into this.
All right, so we'll table that one.
This is one of my start sits.
All right, we'll table that one. And then I'm going to ignore Don Garcia. He says he's in a pickle. We're going to talk about Deontay Foreman or Rashawn Johnson, because I was going to talk about one of them.
Cool.
I'm going to keep going, Jordan. I know that it's typically not, but the chat is popping right now.
Let's get a couple more of these, and then let's get the news, and we'll let these stack up.
Yes, and then anyone new, hit the sub button. That really helps us out. Hit the like button. That really helps us out, too. It's great to see now 4 different new faces in here. Mark Yasko says, should I trade Swift and Hopkins for Olave, Jay Jets, and Warren? I would have no running back 2 this week. Okay, so that's the issue. That's a unique situation, right? So he's trading Swift and Hopkins, but he's getting Olave, which is great. You're getting Jay Jets. That's a win. And you're getting Warren, who it does have some sort of value right now. But he doesn't have a running back 2 this week, so you might be punting on this week, is what he's pretty much saying. So
will you be swapping Swift for Warren at the running back spot, and you swapping Olave for Hopkins at the wide receiver spot, and just be sitting with Jefferson?
Yeah, I'm punting on this week.
I'm taking that deal.
I'm getting Jay Jets. Yeah, I'm punting on this week.
Yep.
Especially, it depends what your record is too. I mean, if you're 0-5, I don't know if you're punting this week. That's the thing. But I would have no running back to Roshan General unless Roshan becomes good. So there's a chance Roshan Johnson doesn't play. So that's tough. I would go ahead and any deal where you're getting Justin Jefferson and Chris Olave, and all you're getting up is Hopkins. I'd do it. All right. Yeah. Keep dropping these things. We're going to get in the news. Anyone who's new,
we'll actually touch some of these.
Yes, and anyone who is new that jumps in, hit the sub button, hit the like button, and put them here and don't leave. We're going to answer them. So, Jordan, go ahead.
Let's talk about some news. All right. First, wait. Thank you so much, Adam. It's like you're here with us. Okay. First one, and I think kind of the most interesting of the week, is Jonathan Taylor signed an extension, signed a new deal with the Colts. If you remember last week, Wednesday, it was Jonathan Taylor says, quote, "I won't play unless I have a new deal." And the Colts say, quote, "We won't give you a long-term deal." And then
they gave him a new deal.
Days later, they gave him a new deal. So 3 years, $42 million. So I think it's important to call out for the running back community who have been getting like kind of $10 million deals. But nice to see that. He played a little bit. He's expected to get increased workload over the next couple of weeks. So kind of stings for Zach Moss, who actually had an awesome game last week. I mean, just incredible.
Yeah, he pretty much said, "Hey, I still need to be part of this offense."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I expect Jonathan Taylor to obviously kind of take over more of that backfield, but we might be in an interesting split backfield situation for the next couple of weeks, which I don't love.
No.
So, but something to keep an eye on. Cooper Kupp is back. I know I mentioned this a little bit, but we kind of said, he has 21 days to get back to practice and return, and he played right away and played awesome. So, Cooper Kupp's back in full swing. That's really nice to see. Puka still had an awesome game, which again was great to see that both of them are still there. So then what they did, traded Van Jefferson. So Tutu Atwell is obviously number 3, so they traded Van Jefferson to the Falcons. I don't think Van Jefferson's worth owning now that he's on the Falcons. Jake, thoughts?
Well, I don't think he was worth owning when he was on the Rams.
He was but people might have had him because they were like, with Kupp out, that kind of thing. But I especially don't think he's worth owning the Falcons.
Okay.
Just for the record, in all the leagues I'm in, someone has Van Jefferson on their
That's
team.
true. Really?
He's not. Yeah. Yes.
In our league?
Correct.
Okay, keep going.
Anyway, moving on. Achane on IR, knee injury.
Bummer.
That stings for people like me who have him in leagues, who was just so excited because he was just winning me games. Actually, all the games that I won is because he was in my starting lineup. But at the same time, Jeff Wilson's coming back from IR, and it's possible that he's playing in week 6. So keep an eye on that. One of the questions that came in the chat was, is Jeff Wilson worth a pickup for the next 4 weeks? I say yes.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? I'm sorry, I was too confused. I'm sorry, I was too preoccupied just to be able to say, you're wrong. No one has Van Jefferson in the home league. Anyways.
Does no one have Van Jefferson in the home league?
Jordan's like, add?
No, I
Anyways,
don't add
what
Van
was your
Jefferson.
question?
I was saying that Achane's on IR, knee injury.
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson's coming back from IR. Is Jeff Wilson worth picking up for 4 weeks?
Yes, he is. And that was...
I say yes, yep.
That was one of the questions that was asked in the chat here, live on YouTube at youtube.com/nextfantasy.
You totally ignored me. You totally...
Why?
I already said exactly that. And
Did you? I was really preoccupied. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
We only have the finest things here. Is Jeff Wilson worth a pickup for the next 4 weeks? He sure is. Because while I agree with Joey in the chat that Mostert is a must start, we've seen it before, and we're going to continue to see it. He's not going to get all the carries. And we've seen Jeff Wilson, and he's able to produce as well. Is he going to do the same thing as Achane? I don't think so. But I still think he'll have some sort of role. And we've also seen Mostert. He's not been known to be the most healthiest of guys. So
yeah, those 3 guys, quite fragile.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can pick up and stash Wilson right here, right now, and maybe an injury happens or something, then you got a bell cow. So yes, pick him up. He's worth having on the back end of your roster. Yeah. I would rather have him over... I'm trying to think of like a backup right now. I'd rather have Tyler Algier, I think. But I'd rather have him over like Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, right now.
Would you agree?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Other sad news: Justin Jefferson to IR with the hammy injury. He's going to
that's
miss
massive.
At least 4 games. That's major news. So that stinks for the Vikings, who are 1-4 right now on the season. So Jordan Addison also a little limited in practice, but I expect to see an uptick for him. We'll talk about him a little more later. But I think Kirk Cousins is a trade candidate. Not fantasy-wise. I think the Vikings might trade Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that.
Yeah.
Because they're not... Kirk Cousins is not part of this future. Of their future. So...
And they're 1-4, and Jefferson's going to be out at least 4 weeks, maybe more. We'll see. But at least for this next week against the Bears, they are
trap game. I'm telling you. Listen, the Bears looked really bad the first 2 weeks, but they're hot right now. This is a game where the money's going to say pick the Vikings. I think it is a game where the Bears could end up winning.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This is a game, for all of you gamblers out there, I would not bet on.
I would not bet on this game either.
All right. Other injury news we talked about a little bit earlier. Anthony Richardson on IR, shoulder injury. They say 6 to 8 weeks, but at least 4 because he's on IR. So Minshew Mania.
Minshew Mania, it's back. It's back.
he is a very serviceable backup. It obviously takes a little bit of a hit to like, some of the receivers and stuff like that, but not that much. He is a good backup quarterback in this league, and I still would start like Michael Pittman. I'd still obviously you want to start Jonathan Taylor and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
With news?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those were the big ones. Here's some other just kind of teasers for you. Daniel Jones not practicing with a neck injury, so we could get Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, Ty God! For anyone who doesn't know, Tyrod Taylor is one of my favorite players of all time. He has gotten such a bad rep, and I stand by it. I truly believe he would have started for another 4 years if the Bills didn't just squander. If you recall, he was on the Bills, and then they benched him for no reason and put in oh man, who's that quarterback? Now I'm completely blank. He threw like 6 picks.
He threw like 6.
He
Nate
was
Mullins,
so bad. No, it wasn't Nate Mullins. It was so bad. But right after that, though, they got rid of him. And then what happened? He went to the Chargers. And yes, they drafted Justin Herbert, but they're going to give him time. And then someone stabbed him in the lung with a needle. Like, this man has just had such bad luck. I love Ty God. Is he worth starting? Probably not. But I'm not doing it. But here's the good one.
But I'm excited about it.
If the Giants are playing, Jordan, who would you start? Garoppolo or Tyrod Taylor?
Tyrod Taylor. Do not start Jimmy Garoppolo. I can't stress this enough. He's not good, Jake.
All right, keep going.
Anyway, Darren Waller. I guess I should clarify. Darren Waller also not practicing with a groin injury. Saquon Barkley back in practice, a little limited, trending towards maybe playing. But there's a world where Daniel Jones, Darren Waller, and Saquon do not play for the Giants, and that it just stings.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Not like sorry if you're a Giants fan, but bummer. Javonte Williams looks like he's good to go for week 6, so keep an eye on that against the Chiefs. T. Higgins back at practice after a rib injury, kept him out last week. It looks like finally the Bengals offense might be clicking a little bit, or at least Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So hopefully that just makes all these guys more fantasy relevant. Mike Evans still not practicing with a hammy injury, so he might not be back for week 6. He had the bye week. It wasn't as serious as they thought. Back and forth. Keep an eye on it. If he plays, you want to start him. We talked a lot about this. Khalil Herbert is going to be out, likely with an ankle injury. So he's not practicing this week. Probably going to be out. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Travis Kelce, non-contact ankle injury, and Jake and I were texting when I was watching this game because I have Travis Kelce in the home league, and I was like falling on the floor, stressed out. He took a cut, collapsed, like screamed through his helmet, the whole thing, and I was like, "It's over." Non-contact injuries like that. Non-contact injuries are always the worst, right? They always end up being season enders. But he came back, finished the game, scored a touchdown. How we win the week. So we'll keep an eye on that one. He's a short week with the Thursday night game. So we'll keep an eye there. Deshaun Watson trending towards maybe not playing again week 6.
More DTR.
Yep, against the 49ers. So we could get PJ Walker actually is up on the depth chart there. So we'll keep an eye out there. Last two.
Okay.
Last two. Sorry, I'm just ripping through these because they're important, Jake. They're important.
You missed one.
Austin Eckler says he's 99% sure that he'll play in week 6.
Start him.
So love start it. And then James Conner to IR.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So, you know, who took most of the carries last week was Amari DiMercado. So, he undrafted guy. Though, currently it says he's second on the depth chart behind Keontae Ingram, who should be back this week. He had a concussion for 2 weeks. So, it'll be interesting to see. I went... Mercado was probably the big waiver pickup for you this week. Yep. He's definitely still the guy that I'd rather have here. But all right.
There you go. A lot of news, Jake. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. So we have a lot of questions to get to. We could, Jordan, give the Monday night miracle and the Thursday Top Gun, and then just kind of answer these questions, if that works for you, or. Kind of audible here.
Love it. Let's do it.
Oh, we'll keep going. All right, Fields or Burrow this week?
Who are they all playing? So Fields
got the Vikings,
and then the Bengals have the Seahawks.
I want to say
I'm looking up. Yes. Yep. Seahawks. Okay. I like Fields.
really.
Vikings give up points.
Yeah. I Fields for first 2 weeks maybe super nervous. Well, after watching Joe Burrow put it together last week, you got to go Burrow. You have to go Burrow here.
Wow, what an interesting
I know,
turn of
I
events for
know,
us, Jake.
I know. But it's super close. I don't think you could go wrong with either because I think both of them are going to perform really well. That's a good situation to be in, I'll say. Let's see. Odie says, I'm 2-3 and struggling with injuries. Should I trade Tyreek and James Cook for T. Higgins, Ken Walker, and Travis Kelce? Tyreek, James Cook for T. Higgins, Walker, and Kelce.
If you're struggling with injuries, I don't want T. Higgins and Travis Kelce.
Because they're currently hurt?
Because they're hurt.
That's a good point. If you could wait a week, that would be my advice. If you could wait 1 week and survive this next week, then I would do it. I want to see how Travis Kelce is coming back from an injury because it looks like he'll probably play, and I want to see what T. Higgins is like. If they're normal, great, then I would smash yes next week.
Yeah.
I think Tyreek Hill is such a great commodity, but if you're really hurting with injuries, for example, I traded Christian McCaffrey in a home league because I had injuries and it was just a struggle. You trade one good player, get 3 good players to fill out your roster. So,
yeah. The thing I'm struggling with there is getting rid of Tyreek for T. Higgins is a backwards move. Getting rid of James Cook for Kenneth Walker is a wash, maybe.
I'd
have to look at the numbers. An improvement.
Yeah.
And then obviously you're getting Travis Kelce, which is a huge improvement.
That's like saying, even if you wash it, that's like saying, would you rather have Tyreek or T. Higgins and Travis Kelce? That's really hard. That's a tough one.
Yeah. That's to me, that's what this trade is getting to. The James Cook, Kenneth Walker stuff, whatever.
I'd say
if you're trading away Tyreek.
For me, I'd say if you can wait a week, do it. If not, I'm still saying yes.
Okay.
DJ Moore for Jalen Waddle. Would you trade Moore for Waddle? That's a good one. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. Because even if this offense... What I think about the Bears is that we saw the first 2 weeks how bad it was, right? And then the next 2 weeks, it was so good, right? I don't think it's ever going to go back to being that bad again.
Yeah,
right?
DJ Moore's currently wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is... I don't know. And obviously that's slanted a little bit because he had 2 awesome games. But to me, I feel like I'd keep DJ Moore.
DJ Moore's the one. He's the one by a mile. There's no one else to throw the ball to right now. Yeah. We've talked about how much we like Darnell Mooney, but he just doesn't seem to be doing much there. Their second best receiver is Cole Kmet, which is great for a tight end, but... I'd rather have the
wide receiver 44 right now.
And he did miss a game or two, but all right.
Just one.
Let's answer one more question. We'll do the Thursday night guy, and then we'll answer a few more questions. Do the Monday night guy, one more question, and then we'll call. Got it? Because we are already at 30 minutes because you guys are killing it right now live on YouTube at youtube.com/Next Fantasy Football Podcast. Whew. All right. Jordan, our Thursday night Top Gun, the guy we are starting this week. Go. It is Isaiah Pacheco. Talk about him.
I'll talk about Isaiah Pacheco, and I love Isaiah Pacheco this year. There's lots of good things to love. But it's because of how bad Denver's run defense is. It's atrocious. It is literally last by a mile in the NFL right now. I think they're like 187 yards a game or something like that to opposing running backs. I don't think they've ever kept a running back under 100 yards this whole season. The defense is so bad in Denver right now. I mean, just comically terrible. Sorry, Adam. So I like all the Chiefs this week, especially Isaiah Pacheco, who has really been stringing together a couple of good weeks. So he's clearly the number one back. They throw in Clyde Edwards-Helaire just for some fun. I thought Jerick McKinnon was even going to have a bigger role in like the pass game. He doesn't really. He's kind of just there. So I think Isaiah Pacheco's had 15-plus carries. He scored in the last 3 weeks. Denver's run defense is terrible. I'm all about it.
He has a over 75% rushing share right now. He's one of 6 backs who has that, meaning he is in the conversation of bell cow back, which aren't many of those around. So a bell cow back in a really good offense for a team that in a game where they shouldn't have to throw a bunch of times, right? They should get up and then be able to run in the second half. I will say, and I think I've talked about Russell Wilson a lot, fantasy wise, about how he hasn't been bad when it comes to fantasy. I think he's a sneaky play here too this week, because they're going to have to throw a lot. So it's the opposite effect, right? I know Jordan's not the biggest Russ guy here, but I'm just saying they're going to be down, which means they have to throw. So
Russ is definitely a good fantasy play because Russ has been playing well from a fantasy perspective, but he's gonna get benched.
He's not gonna get benched.
You can book it, Jake. He will get benched.
Oh my gosh! Hold on. Okay. So anyway, start Isaiah Pacheco. That is a fantastic play this week. So we love that one. Jordan, do you want to just go straight into Monday night and then we can answer these questions for the next few minutes?
Yeah, love it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So then, look at us, just audibling on the fly. And then our Monday night guy, we're going Joshua Palmer. So a guy that last year played a lot with Keenan Allen out. Now he's flipped the script. Mike Williams is out with an ACL for the year. He's seen at least 7 targets. What'd you write here? In each of the last 2 weeks, he has a really big playability. With Quentin Johnson there, I think it's a little different than last year. But a guy who you need a miracle on Monday night, start him. I think that he could easily hit 7 targets again, 6 catches, and he has a decent red zone opportunity as well.
Yeah, I think he's a great flex play this week, and I also like sneaky to Kellen Moore. Like payback game against Dallas.
The revenge game.
Offensive coordinator, the revenge game. I'm all about it. So, but yeah, I think we like Josh Palmer. We always like Josh Palmer. Sometimes he breaks our heart, but every time that someone is out in that offense, which happens in the last couple of years, Josh Palmer seems to be the one who fills the hole.
All right. Let's answer some guys we like this week on Sundays. Jordan, we don't give it 15 seconds. Ready? I like Alvin Kamara this week. Definitely a guy that I think should be playing. 2 weeks, he has 16 catches. Love that. And he's pretty much the bell cow guy there. Another guy I like this week, Josh Downs. With Garner playing, he had ended up with 6 catches, 97 yards. So he was getting a lot of looks last week. And another sneaky guy that I like this week, if Roschon Johnson does not play, I like Deontay Foreman, because who else are they going to give it to?
Yep.
Anyone?
So they really keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that, how that develops this week. Someone I really like, I kind of mentioned it. I like Jordan Addison this week against Chicago Bears, or just comically terrible, bad offense, and it's like 9-6, and it's only field goals. Those are the only things. It can't be in between that.
I agree.
That is what I'm anticipating for that game. So I like Jordan Addison with Justin Jefferson out. I think Addison kind of has that touchdown upside week to week.
All right. Is Ford a must start this or a must avoid this week? I don't think he's a must avoid.
I don't think so either.
He has flex opportunity, is my thought there. All right, let's scroll back. Our buddy Zach from the home league asked, I don't know if you saw this, Jordan, Gardner Minshew for the Dallas defense. So Jordan has Gardner Minshew. Zach has the Dallas defense. Would you do it, Jordan?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I will clarify. It's because we're in a super flex league, and
his other quarterback, his other backup quarterback is Zach Wilson. So
correct. And Dallas defense just had 40 points hung on him last week. So,
All right. Someone asked earlier. I hope you are still here. He said trade CeeDee and Kittle. Okay, so trade CeeDee Lamb, George Kittle, the Miami's defense for Diggs, Darren Waller, and the San Francisco defense.
The defenses mean nothing.
No, I agree. I will say the San Francisco defense is a must start every week, but the difference is not that. By the end of the year, the defense will not be that big. It might look it now, but it won't be. So for me, that's a nothing. So then it's pretty much Diggs and Darren Waller for CeeDee and Kittle. I'd probably still prefer to have Diggs and Walker or Waller.
You'd rather have Diggs and Waller
than
CeeDee and Kittle?
I think
I'm the reverse. On
I think
that. So maybe it is a good trade.
I think people are looking too much. I mean, this is the prime opportunity to trade away Kittle because he just scored 3 times. Right? I mean, that's what this is. And previous to that, it's not like he was setting the world on fire. So for
Yeah,
me,
but Darren Waller is still a backwards move.
okay. I'd rather have Diggs though. I'd rather have Diggs than CD, 100%.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's what I mean. So I don't know if that really answers your question. So we
I think it's
disagree.
kind of a wash. I would argue it is a wash. Do what you like. It's all about how you value those tight ends. To me, Kittle is a positional advantage that you don't get unless you have Travis Kelce, and Darren Waller. Whoever drafted Darren Waller is like kicking themselves because they took him in the 5th or 6th or something, and now they're like, oh, I could spin him for someone else.
Our buddy Zach says, Jake, I may have missed this, but do you still hate Brock Purdy? I think Brock
That's
Purdy.
a great question.
That's a great question. I think Brock Purdy's in the lead to win MVP right now. That is my thought. He just
The lead?
Yes, absolutely. This team, his the stats say so far. Plus, his team's the best team. You're the quarterback on the best team in the NFL. You have a top 3 shot at winning the MVP.
Yeah, his passer rating is out of this world, which doesn't matter in fantasy, but I think that he is he's a contender for the MVP, and I can't wait to do our Book It episode at the end of this year.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Moving on. Dynasty
How's
trade.
Trey Lance?
Okay,
How's Trey
Dynasty.
Lance?
He's a Cowboy. Speaking of Cowboys, Dynasty trade. Would you trade Tony Pollard for Pacheco and Pierce?
Probably not.
No? I love Tony Pollard, so that makes it really tough. I think it depends on what the rest of your roster looks like, right?
Yeah.
So,
Sorry. I'm keeping Tony Pollard.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you are weak at running back, then that's another one of those moves I'm talking about, which I'm a fan of, is moving one guy for 2 pieces that are good. They're young, right? So it depends what the rest of your roster looks like. Jordan, I assume this is Dynasty as well. Would you trade Dallas Goedert and a second for Laporta? Yes, I would 100%. You get a second-round pick plus Sam Laporta as a rookie tight end who is playing very well.
No, you're giving away a second-round pick. You're giving Dallas Goedert and your second.
Yeah, I'd still do
Sam
it.
Laporta.
I'd still do it.
Yep.
I'd still do it. Mm-hmm. Chef says, CMC stays healthy, he'll win MVP. Swift for comeback player of the year. Swift could definitely win comeback player of the year. I don't see why not. There's not a chance a non-quarterback is winning MVP. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Which I don't love, by the way.
Which I don't love.
But he's going to win Offensive Player of the Year, for sure. CMC will.
I do not love that either. I'm scrolling through the thing, through the chats. Well, I think... Is that everyone? Jordan?
Maybe.
Okay.
I have someone I would sit for
Yeah,
sure.
tell us quick.
That's worth calling out. My sit this week is Miles Sanders at the Dolphins.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yes. Sit Miles Sanders. He
Jake
fooled me for just a little bit.
Yeah, so it's as soon as Jake got on the Miles Sanders train, he just fully collapsed. So I still blame you, Jake, for this. But Hubbard's stealing those carries.
Yeah.
Like, he is stealing those carries. I think Miles Sanders had like 51% of all snaps or something. So he's still the primary back, but barely by like 2 snaps. And the Panthers are just bad. They're going to be playing from behind the entire time against the Dolphins. And so I expect them to abandon the run really early. I bet you Miles Sanders gets like 8 carries or something.
8 carries.
Like last week, I think he got 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's a bad team.
Very similar. Yeah,
it's a bad team right now. The experiment of Bryce Young is, it's taking time, right? And
which
I think
I believe I was right about as well, Jake. Not that I'm keeping track of
which is what?
Who we thought would be the best quarterback, but I did say it would be C.J. Stroud, and you said no, it's Bryce Young.
I still think it could be Bryce Young. I will say that C.J. Stroud's killing it. He's also in a must start. I'll say that.
Oh, C.J. Stroud?
Yeah, he is a top 10 quarterback right now, throwing for the amount of yards he is throwing.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more, and then we will call it. With all the running back injuries, would it be worth grabbing all the discount bin guys right now, like Miles Sanders, Ramondre Stevenson, Najee Harris? Yeah, if you can get them for discounts, rank them. Who would you want? Ramondre Stevenson, Najee Harris, Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders is 3 on that list.
Yep.
And then probably Ramondre Stevenson at 2 and Najee at 1.
I would
Patriots
do it.
are such a snooze.
That is exactly how I would do it as well.
Yeah.
And I'm of the opinion, and I recently just traded for Najee in our league. He's talented. He's good. They just got to figure this out. I think their offensive coordinator might be the worst offensive coordinator in the history of offensive coordinators. He's just
He'll probably get fired.
Yeah, he's so bad. And I like Kenny. We like Kenny Pickett, but man, that is just a bad offense. And then Joey ends us with trade. He's trading the hot dog and the beer for the Italian sausage and the Diet Coke.
Terrible trade.
Terrible
keep
trade.
the hot dog and the beer.
Keep the beer. Always
keep the beer and the hot dog.
See, there you go, you guys. So there you go. There is our life advice. Keep the beer. Keep the hot dog. Start the players we said. Sit the players we said. This is a great episode so far. Like I mentioned, if you're listening later on, we are live on YouTube at youtube.com/Next Fantasy Football Podcast. We are live, or we are also on Facebook, facebook.com/The Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. I don't know. We're on Facebook at The Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. What? Don't.
Come on.
Me. I will have you know, Jordan, I'm talking very fast and a lot of information. If you'd like to help, that would be great.
Nah, I'm good. Thanks, though.
Yeah, we're also on Instagram at next_step_pod. Jordan, hopefully we get Adam back, Jordan, next week. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I need him back.
We're going to have to tell him that we really hyped him up.
Yep.
All right. Jordan,
if he doesn't come back, we're canceling next week.
That's not true. We'll be here at the same time next week. Jordan, unless you have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good. Everyone go get those dubs this week.
Everybody go get those